अब रितेश के लिए मैं क्या कहूँ, बहुत कम लोग ऐसे हैं जो कि साइंस और पर्सनल लाइफ को मर्ज कर देते हैं. तो रितेश इज वन ऑफ देम. आई थिंक फ्रॉम मॉर्निंग टू नाइट he just thinks about what he can do for geology, for science, in between living a normal life. So a lot of people have divided their lives into various compartments, but I think the biggest feature in Ritesh Arya's life is the fact that there is no partition. There is no partition.
सर आप ऐसी सी बातें बोल देते हैं ना कि
that's true. It's true that you can talk about groundwater and next day or next moment you can talk about Gyani Ka Dhaba. There are not many people who have merged the scientific parts of their life into their lives as a whole. You know, so that's a very big, it's a very big achievement. And at least for me, that is one of your very essential points. You know, the fact that you can think of mineral water plant along with a museum and parking for your drilling vehicles at the same time. Is, in my opinion, it's a really great thing, great quality, and that is something that I appreciate. You know. Also, you're always willing, always eager to display what you've got and share your knowledge. There are not many people who like to share what they have done or their concepts with other people. So
what do you feel about this, the concept of this museum?
It's very good. I love the architecture and the fact that you have yourself conceived the whole idea, and I know that you've collected fossils for the last maybe 20-30 years from this area, Kasauli, Subathu, as well as from Ladakh. So it's important that you find a place to display what you found. After all, knowledge is for everybody, and once you display something and write it up in a museum like you have built, then it inspires other people to go out and find. So it becomes a chain reaction, and inspiring other people to do something that you yourself have experienced and enjoy. That is what it's all about, isn't it?
मैम आपको कैसा लगा?
बहुत अच्छा. अचीवमेंट से तो नहीं पता है कि कहाँ से पानी निकाला.
ट्रांजिशन फॉसिल से ब्लडी कॉटलेट
अनहर्ड ऑफ जगह से.
वो भी जाते हैं. I can do that.
तो वो जर्नी एक, जब मैं पहले आपके पास आया था तो बिल्कुल हम ऐसे पता ही नहीं था जियोलॉजी क्या होती है. फिर आपके साथ आने से
Ritesh came to me for doing his PhD. In fact, his PhD was in paleontology, but he was interested in everything, especially, I think, in things in subjects where he could help other people. And so he was financing his studies by doing daily wage work. By doing a daily wage work.
We were employed at 82 rupees 80 paisa per day.
82 rupees a day, you know, as a groundwater hydrogeologist in the Kasauli area. And that is where he learnt his basic principles, and he expanded them in a very unique manner. He visited most of the Dogra forts round about, and he was always interested in the fact that if you are living in a fort, there has to be water, and if there is water in a fort, how did it come? How did spring water, from what rocks did it come?
So basically the concept was like, if we can get water at the peaks, what was the principle? And if the hydrogeologists of the past, say about 500 years, 600 years ago, without remote sensing, without geophysical methods,
They could find
they
it.
could find it, why not we? Because what we were doing when we were employed as a geologist, agar 10 bores we were drilling, and if 7 were successful, which anyway will be successful, and if 3 will go, so it was considered to be 100%. 70% result was considered to be 100%. But after analyzing these forts, they had the technology of 100% success rate, because that fort has to survive 24 into
It has to survive, yes.
so for 24 into 7, So that was the turning point, and when I was able to correlate these basic principles of the investigation, how they were able to get those water at the peaks, that was the turning point. And since then, none of our borewells have failed. None of our borewells have
How
failed.
old were you when you first tendered for water in the lay monasteries? How old were you?
So I was, that was in 1996, 97, after this IBC, when I went to China. So there I met a guy, they were looking, after hearing my lecture, they said, how can you get water, Then after that, we were just sitting for a cup of tea, then that man told that there was some problem of his friend in, they were looking for a project in Leh. That was 1996. So when I told them that, yes, we can do something in Leh, for the Tibetans who migrated after 1959, after Chinese aggression, So that was the time, I think I was around 26.
Yeah, so at the age of 26 or 27, you took a huge risk.
That was not a risk actually at that time.
No,
when
you may not.
If you
not.
remember, we were presented that paper was about zonation of entire Himalayas into 7 hydrostratigraphic zones. 6 were in Himachal Pradesh, right from Chandigarh to Lahaul Spiti area, and the 7th zone was in the Sankosucho zone. So the 7th zone, I was wondering whether I'll ever get an opportunity working as a geologist in Himachal Pradesh. So that was my, sort of a dream, that 7th zone I had to experiment. And then in the Sankosucho zone, nobody had ever drilled groundwater except on the banks of Indus.
Yeah, but for a 27-year-old who has not had formal training, after all you had practical training, but never formal training,
No.
that's a very big thing. And then you tendered, and you got the tender, and then you were able to take your rigs under very adverse conditions.
Yeah, the first year it was difficult.
Yeah. So that I think is remarkable, because that's not, you need an exceptional person to take that kind of step, because the uncertainty factor is
Was
huge.
very good. Because when I
People are very cautious actually.
they said
And
that,
you are,
okay, even if you are, because they have British geologists, the company, the NGO was WaterAid, that was run by Queen of England. They were funding this Dalai Lama's project. So when, so then when what happened was, they were very apprehensive, because none of them, the geologists or the engineers there, they advocated groundwater. They said, no, you have to get water from Indus. So when I submitted this report that in each and every camp I can give you 24/7 water, so that they said, okay, even if we agree with your report, who's going to execute this project? So the next question was, who's going to execute it, and why should anybody trust your report? Even if anybody can say that there is no water. So then this principle of came, no water,
no money.
So that is how I started my company, and that was the basic principle. And that strength I got was from this, the experiments which we did with this
The forts.
Yeah, that was the strength,
No, but it may seem a very simple thing for you, but very few people start their businesses or start any venture with no output, no money.
But I wanted to do that way only.
No, I know. I know the rest, of course, is history.
Yeah, there were about 3,800 Tibetans, and in 24 into 7 water was provided to them for the first time in the history in the high altitude cold mountain deserts. And then the army, the air force, they never left me, when China pressure.
No, basically, after your successes in the monastery, people throng because groundwater is pure.
Yeah.
You don't require
Any treatment.
any treatment. Plus, it's much warmer than the ambient temperatures.
Yeah.
What more do you want?
It never freezes in winters.
It never freezes.
And no silting problem in summers. That was the typical problem which was faced by the people and the army in general.
So it is actually a paradigm shift from previous efforts.
Yeah, definitely.
And whenever you do something which is radically different, people are very apprehensive. But you are able to not only do that work for the monasteries, but also for the army in all kinds of very adverse conditions. And you are still doing it.
Yeah.
So now 20, 30 years.
And the best part is not even single, people are talking about groundwater depletion, Not even single borewell drilled by us. 1 centimeter water level has come down. So that is
Huge.
So we have been monitoring these wells, Not all the wells, but few wells we have monitoring, and we are seeing that the perfect results, 20 साल पहले भी जो बोरवेल्स किए थे आज भी किए हैं परफेक्ट. नहीं तो नॉर्मल जो ग्राउंड वाटर सेंट्रल ग्राउंड वाटर करते हैं 10-12 साल में उनके बोरवेल कोलैप्स कर जाते हैं, क्योंकि वो उनकी परफोरेशन वो टेक्निक हमने बिल्कुल सिंपल अच्छा रखा है. इट्स वी जस्ट थॉट दैट like in one of the seminars in World Water Conference in Stockholm, I was giving a lecture. Then they were just apprehensive. How? So I said that okay, water is blood of Mother Earth. We need proper doctors to operate on it. It is not like just go on drilling or just stop drilling or just create panic about it. It's like if I have to take a blood from my body, we don't have to go more or less. It is just like we are just talking and just take the blood and take that much. Don't overexploit it. If we do it in a systematic way, so water is plenty. So whenever we design, so we keep this thing in mind. If we are getting say about 10 years, we just tell them that it is 5 years, half the water, so that the design of the pump is minimized. Even if he tries to overexploit it, he gets half of it. So that's how we have been doing it from Siachen, minus 30 degrees temperature, to Chishul, when it was fun, doing it, because every day it was a new challenge and it was a new beginning.
So of course it's not finished. The story is not finished.
The story is not finished now. Now we want to,
So it's always great to have
you have been a great inspiration, sir.
people who have.
Now at this age also you are like a student only. You just want to fight for this papers, research. Every time you are giving us energy,
I enjoy it like you enjoy what you are doing. I enjoy what I am doing.
अच्छा हो गया.
चला जाए यार.
चला जाए सर, बहुत अच्छा है.
बंद कर लो.